Ladies and gentlemen of this wide, wonderful world, Till has released. Let's talk about it. I am here on the assumption that you've seen the title of this video and that you've clicked on it. And assuming I decide to name the title something negative, you will be curious. You'll say, why, Ethan? This film has great reviews, exceptional reviews. And what complaints could you possibly have? First of all, I do want to say, I've seen a lot of films recently that I haven't particularly enjoyed. And one that comes to mind that I didn't get to do a review of was Bros a few weeks back. And I didn't hate the film by any means, but I did not give a positive review of it. And I'll actually post in the link below. I wrote something out on Letterboxd, but I didn't do a full video review. I was going to, but I never got around to it. But in that review, I talk about my issues with the film and how even though I didn't like it, I hold no ill will towards the film because it succeeded in its goal. And I am aware that, there are a ton of people who like the film. And I hold a lot of the similar sentiments for Till because this is a very important film about a very important story that, deserves to be told. A lot of people know about the story of Emmett Till, but to see it in the form of, a visual medium is obviously a completely different experience. And I'm aware that it spoke to a lot of people. It affected many people very deeply. I was not one of those people. I will tell you why I was not one of those people. But if you enjoyed the film, you're all the better for it. Congratulations. I'm very, I wouldn't say enjoyed because it is a hard watch. But if you appreciated the film, good, because that's what the film was going for. It would appear they succeeded. And I'm glad that you saw something in it that I didn't. And then, as always, I usually say this at the end, but if you disagree, please let me know why down in the comments below. I will do some back and forth with you. We will have a conversation. I will always admit when I'm wrong. And, maybe you can convince me. Without further ado, let's get into Till. And I'm going to start off with possibly the most controversial thing I could say, which is the lead performance. The lead performance here is Danielle Deadwyler, who I actually didn't know this, but she is in The Harder They Fall, which is a film I saw last year, a Western, sort of a revisionist Western. It's some fun. It's a little long, little bloated, but it's a fun film, and she's in it. And when I looked her up, obviously I saw she was, a character in the film, and I'm like, damn, okay, she was pretty good in that. And she is good in Till. She gives a great performance. She is clearly deeply emotionally invested, but the performance is not my favorite. I think it will get nominated for an Oscar. I have no problem with that. I don't think it should win the Oscar. We'll see if it does, because I feel that it is a lot of overacting. Is that Danielle Deadwyler's fault? Not entirely. She did what was asked of her. She did it exceptionally. I would blame that probably on the director and just the kind of film that it is. And I will obviously have more to say about that. But Danielle Deadwyler, pretty much every scene she's in, she is either so emotionally reserved intentionally, or she is screaming at the top of her lungs, crying exceptionally loudly. And there's a long courtroom monologue where it's just very, very over the top. And look, I'm not saying, obviously in this film, her son died, and not just died, but was brutally murdered for his race, and really no other reason. So that is a very traumatizing experience, obviously horrible, but I still feel that the performance was exceptionally over the top. There's no other way to put it. I felt that the performance could have used some more subtlety. And that really is my entire problem with the film. I would just like to clarify again, the performance was good, just like the film is sufficient. It suffices at what it's doing, but it is not subtle in the slightest. Every single scene that is even of the slightest importance is accompanied with this boisterous musical score that is just seeping through the film like it's practically diegetic inside of the film. with just it's how commonplace it is. And it really got on my nerves eventually, because I prefer films that let you experience what you're feeling for yourself, that don't try to force anything on you. And obviously the story of Emmett Till is a very, very, very impactful story. And so for it to be accompanied with this melodramatic and really just unnecessary swelling score and these very intense emotions that are prevalent throughout the entire film, it was a lot. It felt like a lot. And I think I definitely could have appreciated the film more if it let the audience do more to just think about the film on their own, to let the impact and let the subtle, like if it were approached in a more subtle fashion, then I think the impact of these scenes could speak for themselves. I think if you just have Till's mother just sitting bedside by her deceased son, just sitting there in the silence, I think that's a lot more impactful than this over-dramatic score. I think a courtroom scene with this monologue like this, it feels like it feels like Trial of the Chicago 7 is what we're doing here, this triumphant final moment, which works in a film like that, because in a film like Trial of the Chicago 7, because the whole film is sort of cheesy and ridiculous. It's like a narrative that obviously has something to say, but it is not nearly as serious as a film like Till, or it doesn't demand to be as taken as seriously as a film like Till. And I actually think Till came out at a very good time, because I saw two films this past week. I saw Tar, which I have a review up. You can check that out up there, I believe, one of the two. And then I saw Till. And Tar is a film that is not linear in narrative at all. It has a very untraditional film structure, and you are supposed to think about it a lot on your own. It doesn't leave a lot. It's ridiculously subtle. I would argue too subtle. I think they're really two sides of a coin, and there's a happy medium in there somewhere. Whereas Till is unbelievably basic. It's a very, very basic narrative that really has no nuance whatsoever. We're talking filmmaking in general. The script is very, very simple, and I mean, it's way, like I said, everything, all the emotions are just forced on you. It demands you to feel a certain way, and so I didn't appreciate that, and so I found myself largely uninterested for much of the film. The scenes that really got to me, of course, were the scenes in which it felt the most real. It felt like an authentic, lived thing, because this is a thing that really happened. It was one of maybe the grossest miscarriage of justice America has seen in its justice system. Not that there's any shortage of those, but truly a tragic, tragic case that obviously, should speak to people. But when it's told in this manner, I feel that it loses so much of its impact. At least it did personally on me. I felt that I could not get nearly as invested as I wanted to. It always kept me at least an arm's length away. And, that's because, one, obviously lacking subtlety. Two, very basic film in general. And then three, it is a very drawn out film. Pretty much every scene and this is an editing issue, feels like it goes on for longer than it should. Even just by a few seconds, sometimes you really start to feel that length. There are multiple times where Emmett Till's mother will just be having, Mamie is her name, will be having conversations with people, and it will just really hold on them for some reason, with the music swelling and yada yada. And I really think that also just kills any momentum that the film has. So folks, I rather unfortunately have to say that I did not love Till, did not even really like Till. Well, obviously this could change with a second watch. I really wish it spoke to me, because again, this story is just such an important one that needs to be told. And the story itself, irrespective of any film, is remarkably tragic. And you'd have to be really soulless to not be affected by it. But the way in which Till tells the story of Emmett Till and the story of Mamie Till is largely ineffective, in my opinion. At least that's how it worked on me. So I'm going to give Till a C, unfortunately. It is on the higher end of a C, but it is still, unfortunately, a negative grade. And I hope you can tell that I'm obviously, like usually when I give a film a bad grade, I never feel good about it. There are some cases, certainly, we're talking like a Venom, Let There Be Carnage or something, but never feel happy about it. But I don't feel good about giving a film like Till a C, because it doesn't do too much wrong per se. But I mean, it could have been done a lot better. So it is very unfortunate. It is very unfortunate that I didn't like it. I did, again, like is the wrong word for a film like this, that I couldn't appreciate it, or I wasn't impacted by it, because I wish I was. So if you've seen Till, I know it's, sort of a limited release as of right now. Please let me know. Please, please, please let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. This one has been getting loads of praise, which I can completely understand if it impacted you. So let me know if it did. If you happen to share my opinion, also let me know, because I've met nobody else who shares my opinion on this film, which is fine. I will catch you in the next video.